Well, hello, friends. Welcome to the 100th episode of the Clinical Entrepreneur Podcast. If you had asked me a year or so ago, I would have thought, oh my gosh, 100 episodes. I can't even believe it, but I'll never get there. And I did it. We did it. My team and we did it. I have a huge shout out to the people on my team that help produce this podcast every single week, and to all of you for being so faithful and so wonderful. And I get like DMs and emails all the time from all of you, and I love them. Keep them coming. Love, love, love it. So listen, we've got a big giveaway going on. More about that in the outro at the end of the show. But don't forget, you can enter to win. I've got 3 super cool things to give away. And one is a Bose headset or earbuds, whichever you want, an iPad. And then the third thing is I'm giving away 1 3-hour coaching session with a lucky winner. And we are going to dive into all things in your business, whatever you want to look at, however you want to make it work. And all you have to do is rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast, and then share that with us. So I'll give you the details at the end. But what I wanted to do in celebration of this 100th episode is give you a 3-part series on how to create a sticky practice. Sticky, not like sugar sticky, but sticky like patient sticky. How do you create a practice that people want to be part of, that they want to engage with, and they want to be part of your little raving fan, they want to be a fan. They want to be part of your little fan club. They want to follow you around and learn from you. And we all have patients like that who just kind of hang on every word like, okay, well, what do you want me to do next? What's the next step? Sometimes I think patients are maybe a little bit reticent to, dive in, and they may need a little bit of convincing. And so that's what I want to talk to you a bit about today. So here's what I want to talk about. This is a very underutilized strategy that I see across the board. Practitioners do not use this strategy, and I talk about it often. And that is how to create something that not only feeds the need of your patient to be able to connect with you, but it also creates recurring revenue. So before I get to and give away the answer, here's what I want to say. If you are a practitioner and you have a healthcare practice, you have a business that what you're doing is doing health and wellness things, you should be listening to this, because here's what I know about you. Okay. I know a few things about you. I may not have been snooping on you, but I do know a few things about you. Number one, I know you're smart, because you wouldn't be listening to this if you weren't smart, but you've been through grad school. You've probably taken some other advanced training. You've been to seminars. Listen, you are not stupid. So I do know this about you. You are smart. I also know that you are very courageous, because you can't open a business and hang your shingle and do what we do without some measure of courage, right? We all have to be courageous at that level, at some level, to say, I'm going to go against that mainstream perspective and that mainstream thought. And I'm going to go against that and say, no, I'm going to put my, stake in the ground, flag in the sand, and say, no, this is what I believe. So you're courageous. I also know that at some level, you're really not afraid to take risk, because choosing to be a chiropractor or choosing to be in this functional alternative wellness, space can be a little scary. And you're not afraid to take that risk and say, this is what I'm going to do. It kind of goes along with courage. I know you made it through grad school. Clearly you didn't flunk out, because you did it. You have a license. So that's good. You've learned a ton during your career as a wellness professional. And that means that you have so much information locked up in your head. I know this about you because I work with practitioners all the time, coaching, consulting, mentoring them. And I find this all the time. I'll ask a question and it just rattles right out of their mouth. And I think, well, why are you not sharing that? Oh, I don't know. And I get in the same trap. I know a lot. I know a lot, but I think, no one really wants to hear it. And if that sounds like you, I listen, I got you. I am you. I get you. But there are so many people that don't have the information that we have. So I know that you've learned a lot, but you also have a lot of case experiences, probably hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of case experiences that you can talk about. Not only the successes, but there have been some failures. I think about the time that I was working with a patient on a Hashi's case, and I had no idea what I was doing. It was the very first one that I'd really had. And I thought I knew. So I was just trying to kind of, I don't know, for lack of a better word, probably I wasn't BSing my way through it, but I really didn't know what I was doing. And I was like, oh, well, then this must be the thing. And so then I would go chase after that shiny object. And her antibodies kept getting higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. Like they were in the almost 10,000 range. And it was all of what I was doing that was making it worse. I didn't know. So we all have some failures. And I'm not afraid to talk about the failures because it makes you and I human, right? Makes us human. So as a result of all this clinical experience of being courageous, not being afraid to take risks, et cetera, you've built up a lot of knowledge. You have a wealth of knowledge, but what do you do with it? You sit on it, not literally, but you sit on it, right? You sit on it. It's just stuck in your head. You just hang on to it. And if someone asks you a question, it just pops out and you think, oh, well, and off you go. You talk about that thing. And the person's like, oh, really? Like, for instance, I'll give you an example. I was just recently out of town and I happened to be in an elevator with a couple people that I knew I was at a mastermind and a couple people in the elevator, a couple of women, and we were just chatting it up. We'd spent the evening together. We were headed back to our rooms. And so we were all getting off at different floors on the elevator. And one of them makes a mention about a health thing. And I said, oh, I said, that's easy. No problem. Easy to fix. And she just stopped and she looked at me. She goes, really? I said, oh yeah, easy. Here's what you need to do. Do this, then do this, take these couple of supplements and give it 2 or 3 weeks and you'll be fine. She'd been struggling with it for years. Now, it didn't cost me anything to say that. We were just in casual conversation, but guess what? She ordered the products from me. So I made a little revenue there and I just was able to help her solve a problem. And I just went way up in her list of respected people because I had a solution for a problem she was facing. I didn't say, well, that's going to be $42 for that answer. I didn't do that. I just gave it just because. And then the next lady in the elevator, guess what she pipes up with? Her health challenge. I said, oh, fortunately, I said, oh, that's an easy one. It's a little different. Do da, 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 da. And I laid that out. And both of them were just like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? You know how to do all this? I said, yeah, this is what I do. And they both were like, to use the Australian term, they were gobsmacked. They couldn't believe it. They were like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. But it's because I don't say anything. Like, I'm not going to walk around and toot my horn. Hey, did you know I know how to fix hemorrhoids? I'm not going to say that. So I do know how to fix them, but I just get quiet about it until I get asked. So that's what we're going to talk about today is what if you could leverage all that knowledge that you have in your little noggin and generate an income from it. Yeah, baby. Now I'm talking. Let's talk about that. What I want you to think about is one of the ways that you can create a really sticky practice that people want to talk about. And that's kind of the goal. We want those referrals. We want people to say, oh my gosh, can you believe Dr. So-and-so or practitioner this person? You can't even believe what they do, what they know, and etc. What I want you to do is I want you to think about building out a video library and then turning it into a low dollar membership. This is one of the easiest ways for you to generate revenue. And here's how it works. I'm going to give you 5 steps. So if you're driving, please do not try and write these down. Maybe come back and listen to the podcast later. Or if you're sitting at your desk or you're doing something, grab a pen, but be safe, write them down. And I'm going to give you the 5 steps on how to do this. And these are just high level steps. If you want to work with me, you want me to help you like dive deeper and give you all the particulars, we just can't do it all on one podcast episode. But I'm going to give you the 5 things that you need to do to create this low dollar video membership. So, and it's going to generate some revenue. So it builds loyalty and trust, number 1. So let me get the benefits first. It builds a huge amount of loyalty and trust because patients know that you're not being stingy with your info. Like, oh, you got to schedule an appointment if you want that question answered. And, we have to be wise with our time. We can't respond to every single email that comes in and give a 20-minute response and educate. We also can't spend a whole bunch of extra time talking with patient A about their mother and their children and their spouse and their neighbor and their cousin and the grandma without charging for that either. There's a balance, right? We have to protect our time and what that time is worth, but then we also can provide some low-hanging fruit content and video in the form of a video that allows people to get a taste of who you are. And then when they want more, you just move those bad boys right on into your membership. So it builds loyalty, it builds trust, it generates an incredible number of referrals because these patients love the content that you're giving. So here's how we're going to do this. Number one, I'm going to give you 5 steps, just like I promised. Step number 1, I want you to write down 10 things that you know something about. Now, they have to be things that you're passionate about. I do know how to pump water out of the bottom of a boat, but I am definitely not passionate about that. So I also know how to support patients with cancer, but I'm not passionate about that. I can do it, but I am passionate about mothers and babies and children and female hormones, thyroid, digestion. Those are the things that I'm really passionate about. I could talk about them all day long. So I want you to write down 10 things that you know a little something about that you're passionate about. And that's it. Just try and make sure that they pertain to what you're talking about, not pumping water out of the bottom of a boat. That comes from a real life Rhonda Nelson story. Anyway, for another day. So write down 10 things that you're passionate about. 10 things you think, okay, well, I know how to deal with fatigue, let's say. So now step 2. So you've got your list of at least 10. If you can write down more, that's great. The more, the better. The more, the better. But start with 10. I don't want you to get overwhelmed. And that's pretty easy to do. So we're going to take fatigue as an example. Okay. So step 2 now, you've got your list of 10. That's step 1. Step 2, I want you to break each one of those things down into 3 separate aspects or thoughts. So let's use our fatigue as an example. Now, man, if I started to talk about fatigue and I did a video on fatigue, I'd have to be talking about all different kinds of aspects of what are the types of fatigue and how does fatigue happen and what does the nervous system do and what's happening with your digestion. What about this, that, and the other thing? It would get overwhelming, and overwhelming is what we want to avoid. So what I want you to do is take each topic and break it down into a minimum of 3 different kind of aspects or subtopics. So let me give you an example. If it's fatigue, then you could break it down into 3 subtopics. That's fatigue, let's say blood sugar, because we know that mood and energy follow blood sugar. So when blood sugar gets low, energy will get low. So you can talk about fatigue as it relates to blood sugar. And this is very high level, very high level. You're not getting into gluconeogenesis and glucagon and insulin, and you're not doing any of that. You're just talking about it at a very high level. So let's break fatigue down. I say you could do blood sugar. You could talk about fatigue as it has to do with like just sleep. So maybe they're just not sleeping well. And then fatigue can also come from, it can be perceived as maybe some mood issues. The people just feel tired, but they may be tired because their mood or their affect is low. There's 3. Another one that you could talk about is, maybe even more importantly, is loss of adaptogenic potential. They just need some adaptogens to help them step up their game, something like Korean ginseng or rhodiola or ashwagandha or something. So there, I just whipped off 4 ideas super quick. These are little subtopics or little aspects of fatigue. And there's more reasons for fatigue, but those are just 3 or 4 that I came up with really quickly. So now you've got your list of 10, step 1. Step 2, you're going to break those 10 down into at least 3, maybe more. So you may want to have a paper that has a couple of columns in it. And the left-hand column is your big topic, and then you write down the subtopics. Okay. So by the time you're done with this step 1 and step 2, you're going to have a minimum, and I promise you this will not be hard. You're going to have a minimum of 30 topics to talk about. 30. That's awesome. That's a really good start. Now, step 3, this is where everyone bombs out, but I'm going to challenge you to listen to what I'm saying and just take some action here, even if it's imperfect action. And even if you're scared, remember at the top of the show, I said, one thing that I know about you is that you're courageous. So I want you to dig deep for your courage. And step 3 is we're going to record them. You're going to record them and you're going to create a video library with all of this content. Now, some of you are going to want to have all your talking points written down. Some of you are going to be able to feel comfortable enough that you're just going to wing it. Now, here's a little secret. When I record these podcasts, I'm sitting in my office. I have a nice shirt on the top and I have a nice black jacket on, which you all can see. You cannot see what is below my waist. What I have on is a pair of scrubs that don't match. If I was home, I might have my pajamas on. I might have some yoga pants on. I don't know. And nobody cares, but I just come because I just need my top half to look good on the camera. That's all. That's what we need. Number one. Number two, I'm always looking at the little green dot. And you've heard me talk about this before. I'm looking right at the camera. Now, for those of you that are watching on YouTube, I'm going to do a little demonstration. I'm going to take my eyes off the camera and I'm going to look at my face. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see that I instantly just broke connection with you because now I'm looking at my face on the screen, on the computer screen. But if I lift my eyes up and I look at the little green dot, which is right next to the camera, now all of a sudden it feels like I'm talking right to you. And I just make friends with the little green dot. Maybe I even make love to the little green dot. Like I'm just with it. I'm just there. I'm talking. I'm loving on that green dot, talking to you like you're here. And I'm sitting all by myself in my office. No one's here, but I'm talking to you just like you were sitting right across from me. So, what I want you to do when you record these is be conversational, super conversational. Now, sometimes that feels, I've been at this a long time with video. So, it comes very naturally to me. But if you got a little lump in your throat right now and your stomach's a little upset, you're like, whoa, I'm gonna hit stop. Don't stop listening. This is what I want you to do. I want you to get a picture of one of your patients, somebody that you know, okay? Not a family, not your spouse, not one of your kids. No, a patient. Get a picture, print it out, and I want you to tape it on your computer or put it right next to the little green dot on your phone or camera. We're going to talk about that in a minute. And I want you to pretend that you're just talking to them. You're just having a conversation with them saying, Mary, here's the thing. When you get tired, you can often, that fatigue can be because your blood sugar gets low. So one of the first things you're going to want to ask yourself is, I'm tired. I want to take a nap. When was the last time I ate? And this is how it works. When your blood sugar drops, blah, blah, blah. And you can kind of just go through that. And it can literally be 2 minutes. I don't want your videos to be any longer than 5 minutes max, but 3 minutes is preferred. 3-minute video. Listen, friend, you can talk about your favorite subjects in 3 minutes or less. I don't know, maybe you're wordy and you can't, but you got to try 3 minutes. People will watch them for 3 minutes. So here's what I want you to do. You don't have to go buy a fancy, expensive camera. All you need is your iPhone or your Android phone, right? Just get a phone with a good camera. Number one. Number two, put it on a desktop tripod. You don't need to stand up in front of something and look all for, no, we're just trying to be comfortable. Like if my shirt was crooked like this, I'd be like, well, oh, well, it is. And I fix it. And maybe I don't fix it. And I don't even know. I can't even see my face right now. I might've all screwed it up. Don't care. I just want to have a conversation with you. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to just have a conversation. That's all. You're just being a normal human being that put your pants on the same way everybody else does. You poop the same way as everybody else does. You laugh at the same things. Like you're just a normal human being. And that's how I want you to do this. So you're going to get your camera. You're going to put it in a tripod, a desktop tripod. I'm going to link my favorite desktop tripod in the show notes. It's an Amazon link. Just click it and go get it. The second thing you're going to do is I have a fancy podcast mic because I do this all the time. But when I'm going to have a distance away from the camera, I have a little mic. In fact, my little mic, I'll show you. Hang on. Let me grab it. It's right over here. So this is what it looks like if you're watching the video on YouTube, but it's just a little thing that plugs in these little ends. One is for an iPhone and the other one is for an Android. And you just plug it in and then the mic plugs onto the other side. And it's a little lav mic, a lavalier mic. And so it picks up your sound, puts it right in the computer with the video, and it works like a charm. So if you don't want to be right on top of your phone because it's a little distance away, you can stand back or sit back a little bit and you don't have to worry about having to shout. That little mic will pick it up perfectly. So I'm going to link those two things in the show notes, the tripod and the mic. So once you get yourself all hooked up, you're just going to start talking. And I want you to talk like a human. I don't want you to talk like a robot because no one wants to listen when you're trying to be very articulate and all perfect. They're going to know, no, don't do that. What they want is human, crooked collar, funky lipstick, waving your hands around, maybe a little chuckle, a little kind of dad humor or something. That's what people want. They want to connect with the real you. That's why they're part of your community. That's why your patients love you, because they want to be with you. They want to know what you know. They want to have those elevator moments with you. And so this is all you're doing, is capturing those little simple elevator moments, and you're just going to capture them on video. So that's step 3. Do the recording. Number 4, step 4, once you've recorded them, you're going to, and don't feel like you have to do all 30. Just shoot for 10. Pick the ones that are inspiring to you. I was writing emails earlier this morning, and I started to get the topics all lined out for this email series I was writing. And I thought, no, none of these things inspire me right now. So I literally closed the window. I'm going to do something else. Pick the things that are inspiring to you. Like, you want to talk about hemorrhoids? Great. Talk about it. I mean, whatever lights you up and you think, oh, I'm feeling inspired about that today. Kind of go with what you're feeling. So you'll get comfortable. And as you get those recordings done, step 4 is, I want you to get a minimum of 10. And you'll have to take a few, takes and tries, because you're going to be really critical. You're going to say, oh, it doesn't look good. And, my eye went weird, or my mouth went weird, or I used my hands too much, or I said something funny, or I made a mistake and said present instead of present. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. They don't think, oh, I can't believe he or you misspelled that or misspoke that, whatever. If they gripe like that, they're not your people. So what I want you to do is take 10 and you're going to load them on YouTube. Yep. Of those 10, I'm sorry, take 5 of the 10. So see, I just made a mistake, just corrected it. No big deal. So you're going to have a minimum of 10 recorded. And I want you to take 5 and I want you to load them on your own YouTube channel. Okay. These are public for anybody to see. And then you can start giving your patients these little links through YouTube as you need to. So let's say you did one on fatigue and blood sugar, and you know that Mary is coming in later today, and you know that her diet is probably part of the reason why she needs to take an afternoon nap every day. So you are going to write in your notes, give Mary the link, YouTube for blood sugar and fatigue. So you or your front desk person sends a nice little email to Mary and says, hey, Mary, Dr. Jim was so excited to see you today, and he wanted me to make sure that you had this YouTube link that explains a little bit more about why the fatigue is happening and what he thinks you may want to do about it. Here you go. Happy watching. And you send them the link. They're like, oh, Dr. Jim is famous. He's on YouTube. Look at him. And then there's like another one and another one. And now they're starting to interact with your content on YouTube, but you're holding some of your best videos back. I don't want you to put them all on YouTube, just a few. And you're holding some of your best ones back. And those holdbacks, there we go. That's step 5. In step 5, you're going to put all those holdback videos plus all of your public videos into a private gated place where only members have access. Okay. Only members have access. And in order to have access, you're going to charge them $9.99 a month. And I'm talking $9.99. And you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? All this work and stress, and I'm going to do these videos, and what's going to happen? Oh, eye roll. No, do not give me an eye roll. What if you have 30 patients that want to be in your membership? It's $300 a month, but you don't have to do anything else. All the videos are there and done. So you just add a little bit more content every month. And how long is it really going to take you to record a 3-minute video? Not very long. So step 5, you're going to put all your holdback video, and you're going to put back your public videos inside your paid membership. Now there's 2 ways to do it. You can do it on Facebook, which is really the easiest, and it creates a community. So you just do a private Facebook group, and the only people that can get in are the people that are in the group. It's the most secure way, and you're not going to get cheaters that are going to come in, right? You're going to only be able to have the people that you've approved to be in the group are going to be in. It's a great option if you are comfortable with that. Another option is to actually create a little mini membership. And I have a link of my recommended membership. It's not the one that I use for those of you that are inside Clinical Academy or Business Accelerator or BCC. It's not Kajabi. There's another one that works great for just these types of simple memberships. And I will link that in the show notes. So if you want that third party information, it's there. It's inexpensive, easy to use, easy to set up. You're like a sixth grader could do it. It's very easy. So you're going to put all of your paid information behind this paywall, so to speak. So they have to subscribe. And you're going to start by maybe putting 15 or so videos in there. And then you're going to just add 4 new videos a month. They're paying $9 a month, $10 a month. Big rip. They're not expecting you to like over deliver a whole bunch of stuff. You're just going to put in a few new videos every month. And then I always recommend that you do once a month a live Q&A. A live Q&A with the people that are in your membership. And I will tell you, they will stay and pay the $9.99 a month. And you don't have to believe me if you don't want, but I'm telling you, it's the truth. They will stay and they will pay the $9.99 just to have access to you. Just to have access to you. It works like a charm. This is what I do. I have a friend that did this, and you'll laugh, but he called it his 10 and 10. And it's such a great market. He goes, it's the monthly 10 and 10 or a week. I wouldn't do weekly. He did it weekly, but you do a monthly 10 and 10. And it's 10 of your questions and 10 of my answers in not 10 minutes or less. So it was kind of a great little marketing thing, right? In other words, there's no way you can answer 10 questions in 10 minutes, but it was kind of catchy, 10 and 10. So steal it or pick your own. But I want you to do some kind of a monthly Q&A. Just pick the day, do it the same time, same day, every day. Facebook makes it super easy because you just hop in and you do a live. Otherwise, all those video content just all lives in there. People have community, they chat with each other, and you'll start to really build a very loyal base. This is how you create a sticky practice. People won't leave when they feel like you're going above and beyond to serve them. Because remember, the patients that you and I see, they're not coming because they really want you per se. The main reason that they come is they have a problem and they need a solution. You are just a means to an end. That's all. You're just a thing that they're using to get their problem solved. But we want to take the relationship beyond just you being a commodity that they're using to solve their problem, to you creating a place where they are in love with you and they want to be part of your community. And it's a privilege to be part of your community. Here's why: it benefits them, but it really benefits you because it elevates your credibility, your authority. You are knowledgeable. You're able to answer their questions once a month. It's recurring revenue for you. And listen, don't underestimate the power of, $200 or $300 a month or $100 a month. And then you start growing it, and then other people want to get in. And listen, it's not just for your patients. If you don't want, you can open it up to the community. It's just your wellness membership. And the community can join and come in at $10 a month, and they get a live Q&A with you for the members every month. Well, guess what? Those people are going to end up being your patients because they're going to realize they're not getting all their questions answered inside the membership. There are so many benefits to this. The patients want to feel like they're part of a community, because I know this one thing. Having an online digital business, this is what I found out. And I think it's really true. They come to have their problem solved, but they stay when they feel a part of something. They stay when there's community. They stay when there's a sense of belonging. And so that's what you really want to build. And by creating building a sticky practice and creating this video library and this recurring this membership that gives you recurring revenue, you're allowing patients to participate with you and feel more connected with you, more than just one coming in and seeing you for an adjustment or a nutritional consult every month. There's not a lot of connection that happens there, but if they can see you and they can hear you and they can connect with you, that builds that trust. It builds that stickiness, and then they're going to start telling their friends. I have seen this model work over and over and over and over. I know one practitioner in the Midwest who is in the health and wellness space, does something a little bit different than I do, but in the health and wellness space, and he makes $1,200 a month. His membership is $14.99 a month, and he makes $1,200 a month, And all he does is this very thing. He adds 5 new videos and 1 Q&A. $1,500 for that right there. Easy, easy money. So this is one way that you can create a super sticky practice. All right, I'm done. Kind of long today. So now next week on the 101st episode, we're going to do part 2 of creating a sticky practice, which is where I'm going to share the winners of the giveaway, by the way. But we're going to be talking next week about creating sticky resources that patients not only want to use, but they want to use and then share. They want to share them with other people, or they want to talk about what they're doing. And that just builds your brand, builds that credibility, and helps create stickiness with your patients. So that's what we're going to talk about next week. All right. Before we go, last thing. We are doing the giveaway. Here's why you want to join. You want to enter. All you have to do is rate, review the podcast, because I love hearing and seeing your feedback. Rate, review the podcast, take a screenshot, and then go to rondanelson.com/podcast100 and upload your screenshot. Give us your contact information. And then the drawing is this coming Friday. The last day to enter is the 10th. So that's this coming Friday, the 10th. We're going to be doing the drawing that the following week, and we're going to announce it on the podcast next week on the 101st podcast. So I don't know, at the time I'm recording this, I don't know who's going to win, but 3 of you will win. We've got a podcast. See, another error. Don't care. We are going to give away a set of headphones. We're going to give away a brand new iPad. And the third thing is a 3-hour coaching session with me. We're going to dive deep and get all this marketing business stuff sorted out for you. No question, free of my time for 3 hours. And I really am looking, that's probably my most favorite part. I'm really looking forward to that. So you can go to rondanelson.com/podcast100. If you want a few more cheater bonus entries, you can tag me with your review online. You can follow my page, or you can leave me a review on social media. I always love the feedback and love to know how this podcast and what I'm doing is impacting you, your business, and your practice. All right, friends, take care. Thanks for being the best audience ever. And I'll see you next week for episode 101 of the Clinical Entrepreneur Podcast.